Part 16. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 182. The breath of destruction spread throughout the world at this moment. In the perception of countless powerful people in all major worlds, the aftermath of the horrific attacks released by the two people almost overflowed the screen, making countless powerful people feel terrified. There is no doubt that if you are in the center of such a terrifying aftermath, any super strong person who destroys planets, destroys galaxies, etc., will not be able to withstand the horrific aftermath. Even the universe itself will continue to suffer at this moment. It is twisted, giving people a feeling that it is unbearable and on the verge of collapse. 2. It's so terrifying. Could it be that even the universe couldn't bear their fight? At this moment, countless beings in the animation world, martial arts world, film and television world, fairy world, game world, world of gods and demons, and even the fantasy world all made noises like they were dreaming. This kind of powerful strength has long been, it has surpassed their imagination and reached the power of another dimension. This kind of superdimensional battle will be deeply imprinted in the minds of countless people in the world. This is called, 4. The realm of gods is the pinnacle showdown between gods. Great, Wukong blocked it. In the world of Dragon Ball, Krillin and others jumped up excitedly, and even Bulma jumped up excitedly. Suddenly, spring appeared, which made people think a lot. Whoops! Whoops! In the picture, Wukong, who was still blasting out Qigong waves, was breathing heavily. The turtle-style Qigong wave just now had consumed most of his physical strength and the divine energy in his body. However, the next moment, the expressions of countless strong men in the world as well as Wukong and others in the picture suddenly changed. A surging murderous aura like a tsunami instantly enveloped the entire starry sky, and the extremely powerful aura spread to all major dimensions, causing countless well-known strong men to instantly collapse to the ground, and some strong women even fainted. They fell to the ground and twitched continuously, and some liquid continued to flow out of their bodies. I blame myself. In the fearful eyes of countless people, Beerus' eyes were full of indifference and murderous intent. His right hand penetrated Wukong's abdomen. The flame incarnated by the breath of God continued to burn at Wukong's wound, but failed to give Beerus any help. Russ was not hurt at all, as if the divine flame had no effect on the god of destruction. I made a mistake, it seems that the person I am looking for is not you. As Beerus's voice fell, Goku's body continued to fall towards the earth like a kite with broken strings. Beerus's expression did not change at all, like a superior god, condescendingly indifferent to his colleagues. Falling for the god-level Wukong. Disaster, could it be said that Kakarot him? Died. In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta collapsed to the ground in disbelief. His eyes suddenly widened, his whole body trembled involuntarily, and a sad emotion surged into his heart. After watching Kakarot's experience and after the interaction between them in the future, he had already regarded Kakarot as a close friend. However, now that his close friend was dead, even he, a hard-hearted Saiyan prince, couldn't help but feel sad. Enlightenment, Wukong, on Earth, Piccolo and others shouted anxiously, while Kikai fainted, and even Bulma collapsed on the ground, with despair on his face. Oh, he is finally dead, that damn Saiyan monkey. He really doesn't know whether to live or die. Deep in the universe, Frieza couldn't help covering his mouth and laughed, looking extremely happy. Since he couldn't feel the breath of God on Goku's body, at this moment, whether it was the Dragon Ball world and others, or the giants in the world, some strong men thought that Wukong was seriously injured by Beerus' attack and even died. Of course, in the eyes of some strong men whose cultivation level was close to that of Goku and Beerus, they could clearly feel the power of Wukong. Although the breath is constantly weakening, it has not yet reached a fatal level. In the picture, Goku's wound is constantly burning with the flame of God, and the whole body keeps falling, and then falls into the sky amidst Piccolo's anxious shouts. Falling into the sea. Unlike Vegeta, who was watching the picture, Vegeta in the picture still had his arms folded, with no wave on his face. He knew that Kakarot could not be defeated like this. The Super Saiyan God's the power of Wukong is not that weak. As the camera reaches the depths of the sea, Wukong's body is still falling. Accompanied by the sad music, Wukong's heartbeat echoes in the ears of everyone in the world. So strong, Lord Beerus. It's amazing, I had no idea. There will be such a powerful opponent, powerful, incomparable, too strong, really too strong. Somehow, it feels so exciting. As Wukong's heartbeat continued to sound, the arrogance like fiery red flames burned around him again. The pierced wound healed instantly, and the powerful aura once again swept across the world. Suddenly opening his eyes, Wukong's face was full of excited, his body turned into a fiery red meteor and flew towards the sky at such a terrifying speed that even the screen could hardly keep up. Keep going, Lord Beerus. The energy of Super Saiyan seems to lift me up again. Under Beerus' surprised gaze, Goku's excited voice came out. You are in pretty good shape. I should respect you for being able to reach this height. Putting his hands on his hips, Beerus licked his mouth, his eyes seemed to be looking at a delicious delicacy, there was a little excitement in his voice, and a strong fighting spirit emerged from his body again. Then let me show you my power. In order not to disturb Bulma and others below, the two flew out of the atmosphere and came to the universe. Beerus secretly hid behind Goku. Just when Beerus wanted to sneak attack Goku with a hand knife, bang! Under Beerus's surprised eyes, Wukong caught Beerus's sword with his left hand, and then said lightly, forget it, this move won't work after it gets old. Then, the bodies of the two people retreated simultaneously, and a stream of red and purple light appeared in everyone's eyes. Help, there are so powerful sounds, the body is constantly rising, Wukong still has the same red aura as before, but Beerus's body is full of aura like a purple light. At this moment, both of them were raising their auras. Unexpectedly, my future self actually started to take it seriously. In the Dragon Ball world, Beerus couldn't help but be surprised when he looked at the destructive energy surrounding him. And everyone in the world also understood at this moment that the real showdown between the two had begun. The god of destruction also began to use his true power. As the purple flames and red flames exploded to the extreme, the two stepped into the void and rushed towards each other at the same time. Looking from a distance, the two people like comets trailing flames, they suddenly collided together. Bang! As the fists of the two collided, time seemed to freeze at this moment. A dazzling white light shined out from the fists of the two, and then as the light continued to bloom, invisible fluctuations continued to sweep across the entire universe, and the picture continued to shake at this moment. 0 Please go to Philo Novel Network for flowers to read Bao's Huang novels. Under the collision of the two fists, the ripples continue to spread to the Earth, the solar system, and the Milky Way through space transmission and resonance. So much so that the entire universe became turbulent and distorted at this moment. What is this? Is this really the power that a collision of living species can achieve? At this moment, countless strong men watching this battle were all dumbfounded, especially the warriors in the Dragon Ball world. They all felt extremely shocked at this moment. Just the collision of fists actually reached the point of shaking the universe. Once this thing is generated, it seems that the further away it is, the more destructive it becomes. In the picture, the old Kaishin on Kaishin's planet had his eyes widened, and a drop of cold sweat flowed from his forehead. He took a few steps forward slowly, and continued with trembling and fear in his voice. The universe will be destroyed. If those two people collide with each other a few more times, humans, the planet, us gods, Beerus-sama, and Gaku will all disappear without a trace, and there will be nothing in the universe. Then it turned into a void of space. How many more times can the universe withstand their attacks? Besides, Kaioshin couldn't help but ask. No more than twice. Regarding the conversation between the two gods, the world was completely silent. Countless beings couldn't help but be horrified. Many powerful men came to their senses after a few seconds and were almost unable to speak. Incredible. Just the collision of two fists could cause the entire universe to collapse. This is really terrifying. Nima, when gods fight, mortals suffer. At the same time, the two people who slowly retreated in the starry sky looked at each other and smiled. Wukong glanced at his fist. Although he felt extremely painful, it didn't matter. Because, his iron fist will not be broken. Can you hear me, Wukong? Please stop fighting immediately, Lord Beerus, please stop too. Faced with Kaioshin's message, Wukong had no intention of holding back. The burning fiery red flames exploded around him again, and the aura once again climbed to the extreme. Buzz. On the other side, Beerus was not surprised at all. The purple destructive energy reappeared with a strange light, and the powerful aura continued to rise. How could this battle between gods and gods be so exciting? Ah! The two roared again, and the divine auras of both sides suddenly rose again, until they reached the critical point. The powerful auras continued to collide in the starry sky, causing the space to distort. Phew! In an instant, the bodies of the two of them were like sparks hitting the earth. They collided together again. Bang! Suddenly, the two fists that hit each other burst out with dazzling light again, and terrifying ripples swept out continuously. The impact was stronger than before and seemed to shatter the entire universe. Generally, invisible ripples continue to distort space and spread to the entire universe. Located deep in the universe, countless meteorites floating in space turned into dazzling golden light and dissipated in the universe under the aftermath, and the terrifying power continued to sweep through. The entire universe, even the nearby Earth, was affected, and the Earth continued to crack. However, the spreading ripples did not stop at all, and continued to sweep across the entire universe. Countless planets turned into nothingness at this moment. The area also fell into eternal silence. This scene caused countless strong men in the world to kneel to the ground, their faces extremely dull. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 183. Is this the peak showdown between gods? How many more dimensions do I have to evolve to reach the realm they are in? In the Shinigami world's Hollow Knight Palace, Aizen knelt on the ground, his disheveled appearance looking extremely haggard. You know, even at his peak when he was being counted, when he fought against Kurosaki Ichigo, the aftermath of the two I just smashed the mountain to pieces. But now, the two men just collided with their fists, and the aftermath destroyed countless planets, and even the universe was destroyed by the collision between the two. God's realm. Compared with these two gods, the god-level weirdos in our world are like ants. In the world of One Punch Man, the vest master of the Hero Association said in a trembling voice. Located in the depths of the universe, Boros sat paralyzed on the ground, his one eye constantly bleeding red blood, and his body constantly trembling. What kind of universe overlord? In front of these two people, he is just an ant. He is just an ant named Boros, and the overlord of the universe is just a joke. At the same time, the universe Emperor Frisia, who also had a similar title, was also frightened at this moment. His face no longer had the confidence it once had, and his expression was extremely dull. What kind of universe Emperor Frisia is? In front of the god of destruction and the Super Saiyan god, he is a scumbag. Even if 790 works hard to develop his potential to the extreme, he may not be able to compete with the two of them. In the picture, the entire earth was constantly shaking, the earth began to crack, the sea was boiling at this moment, and tsunamis continued to flood nearby cities. For a moment, everyone seemed to feel that the end of the world was coming. In space, Gaku and Beerus' bodies separated again, breathing heavily. Ah, exactly the same as my dream. Looking at Gaku in front of him, Beerus's face was full of excitement, and the purple light enveloped the atmosphere of destruction once again. It's not easy for you to reach this state, what a great Super Saiyan God. Hee, it all depends on your help. After saying this, the fiery red flames of Wukong's body exploded suddenly again, the breath continued to rise, and the energy in the body continued to emerge. This next punch is a heavy blow to say thank you to Lord Beerus. Thank you for bringing me to this height. Next is the third time, the universe is going to disappear. The scene of the two fighting appeared in his mind, and the Kaishin's face was extremely nervous. With this next blow, if the ripples of terror sweep through the entire universe again, then the universe will turn into nothingness, and then everything will be destroyed. Disappeared. Incarnation of the power of the Super Sailor God. The divine dragon roared in the air, and the terrifying power continued to sweep across the entire universe. The unparalleled sense of oppression continued to spread, covering the entire star field in an instant, and even the entire heavens and worlds were at this moment. They were all shrouded. In space, the two roared again, and the arrogant dragons each got back into their bodies. Then the aura of God that had reached its peak rose again. The auras of the two people continued to collide in the starry sky, making the space constantly twist. On, good. As soon as the voice fell, the two of them rushed towards each other at a speed exceeding countless times the speed of light. The terrifying power exploded in the void, and the incomparable aura covered the entire starry sky, and countless stars were constantly trembling. Under the gaze of everyone, the two fists turned into a white light and collided together again, and the violent collision sounded through the starry sky. In just a moment, countless people felt a chill coming over them, as if the entire universe was going to be destroyed by this white light at this moment. However, unlike what the old Kaishin expected, the universe was not destroyed. Many powerful people in the world are puzzled by this. Could it be, is that old Kaishin confused? Can't the collision of two people destroy the universe? However, some strong men who were close to or even far superior to the two of them showed such smiles. I have to say that the Saiyan's fighting talent is indeed very high. Success. In the picture, the two people's fists are in a stalemate, and Wukong has a smile on his face, with a little pride in anticipation. With a raised brow, Beerus raised his left fist high, and then punched out again, and Gaku also punched out. For a moment, the dazzling slender white light seemed to cut the universe open, the fists of the two collided in a straight line again. In Beerus's surprised eyes, Gaku smiled proudly, and then Beerus roared again and punched out suddenly. However, this time Gaku did not receive his fist, but instead turned sideways to avoid it, and then punched Beerus suddenly in the abdomen, causing him to foam at the mouth and scream in agony before flying backwards. There was such a thing, that guy's punch collided with Lord Beerus with exactly the same strength and angle, successfully eliminating the power of the opponent's attack. In the Kaishin realm, the old Kaishin couldn't help but exclaimed. And because of his explanation, the doubtful experts instantly understood what was going on. It turned out that it was not that the old Kaishin was old and confused, nor was he the power of two people is not enough to destroy the universe. But because Kakarot counteracted Beerus' attack with the same angle and power, the universe was not destroyed. To be honest, I wanted to complete this move the second time, but as expected of Lord Beerus, it was difficult to find an opportunity to do it. Wukong scratched his head and said proudly with his hands on his hips. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. This guy actually tried new moves while competing with me. It's really disgusting. With a roar, Beerus's voice echoed throughout the heavens. The anger in his heart continued to rise. The purple flames around him suddenly exploded. His body was like a rapidly passing meteor, drawing countless light and shadows in the starry sky, and then moved towards Gaku. Rushed away. In the next moment, Wukong's body also turned into a stream of red light. The two of them collided continuously in the starry sky. In just a few seconds, tens of millions of attacks continued to blast out. The two of them were in the starry sky. The two collided at an astonishing speed, showing a beautiful scene, with countless white lights reflecting in the starry sky. At this moment, countless powerful people in the entire world were stunned, and the two peoples the fight has gone beyond their cognition, and they can't capture the collision between the two. You already have the power of God, do you still want to go higher? The two people's arms collided, and Beerus narrowed his eyes and spoke slowly. Yes, that's right. With a punch, Beerus' face was scratched, and Gaku's face was filled with excitement. At this moment, he just wanted to continue to become stronger, surpass the limit step by step, and even reach a state that surpassed Beerus. Beerus, who was watching the scene, couldn't help but sit up, his face showing a long-lost solemnity. This Super Saiyan God, a little stronger than he imagined. In the picture, Beerus's body suddenly retreated, and then he put his palms together, and the purple energy light ball that originally appeared in his palms again. Don't take God's power too seriously. After the words fell, the purple ball of light in Beerus's hand expanded several times, and the purple light outside increased countless times. The aura of destruction and destruction continued to fill it. It was almost the same as before, but everyone could feel it. The power of this energy light ball far exceeds the original tens of thousands of light balls. Turtle-style Qigong wave. Looking at this scene, Wukong's hands also gathered forward, and the azure light waves in his hands shined out, looking like a sky blue energy ball, which looked wonderful, but no one was covered up by this illusion. The energy contained inside it was so terrifying that it could destroy the entire universe. Boom! Without any nonsense, the purple energy light ball collided with the azure blue Qigong wave that could destroy the universe. Invisible ripples spread out again, and the entire universe became distorted again. Get up! At this moment, the entire universe seemed to be unable to bear it. Countless planets suddenly turned into nothingness and disappeared into the starry sky, while the lives of the planets that were not affected fell into despair and felt a sense of crisis of death. Emerged in my heart. Boom! The blue light waves and the purple light balls are constantly colliding. At a speed visible to the naked eye, Wukong's Qigong waves are constantly suppressed by the purple light balls, moving towards its direction bit by bit. Press. Lord Beerus, are you serious? Get up, sorry, I already can't keep up with you anymore. Wukong had an expression of reluctance on his face, looking at the purple energy ball getting closer and closer, still clenching his teeth and persisting bitterly. You have worked hard. As Beerus's voice fell, the purple light continued to crush the blue light. However, in the desperate eyes of countless people in the world, Beerus had a look of astonishment on his face. What's going on? Really, the Super Saiyan energy is talking to me. As the dazzling blue light shines out, Wukong's figure appears in everyone's eyes again, the aura on his body rises again, endless energy surges into the palm of his hand, and the violent Qigong waves scatter the purple light ball bit by bit. 3.5 Pushed back. Up, keep going up. As Wukong exploded again, the red flames exploded suddenly, and Beerus also shouted loudly. Purple light enveloped the whole body, and the energy of the two people was transported to the extreme at this moment. As a dazzling white light illuminated the entire in the universe, countless golden lightning flashed out from the junction point of the shock wave, and the two terrifying attacks turned into platinum dazzling small energy balls that were pushed back and forth by the two of them. Compared with Beerus, Gaku had already he seemed a little exhausted, but he still gritted his teeth and struggled to hold on. The incomparable auras of Lord Beerus and Goku collided, creating super dense energy. Once that thing explodes, the universe will really perish. In Kaioshen seeing, the old Kaio sighed, and a touch of relief appeared on his face. Being able to die in the fight between these two people can be regarded as a death without regrets. Who makes these two guys so terrifying? Hearing this, countless strong men in all the world stared at the two people who were constantly stalemate in the picture, expecting Wukong to create another miracle and save the entire universe. Otherwise, the universe will perish. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 184. Damn it, Kakarot, in the world of Conan, Sonoko and the others couldn't help shouting. Explode all your energy, squeeze out all the energy in your body and tomorrow's energy, you are the best in the universe. In the fairy tale world, Natsu's whole body was burning with scorching flames, and the expression on his face was extremely exciting. I am determined to be the Pirate King, so Kakarot, you must also defeat the god of destruction. In the world of pirates, Luffy, who was excited to watch the two fight, kept shouting loudly, and his friends on the side also cheered. Completely explode your small universe. Even if you are a god, as long as you are strong enough, even the god of destruction can pull him off the altar. In the world of Saint Seiya was trembling all over, the small universe in his body was running crazily, and powerful power continued to spurt out. Come on, Kakarot, you can definitely do it. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, Yefan, who was glowing with golden light, couldn't help but roared. After watching the battle between the two, his ancient holy body was also constantly vibrating, and the shackles in his body were constantly breaking. Powerful forces continue to emerge. It's amazing, but one day I will definitely reach your level and surpass you. In the 9 heavens and 10 earths, Shi Hao's face was full of shock. However, after seeing Lu Shen's heaven-reaching method, this power was not so shocking in his eyes. Moreover, he believed that one day he would finally be able to reach the sky. Will be above them, because this is his path to invincibility. Come on, Wukong. Come on, Dad. Kakarot, you can definitely do it. In the Dragon Ball world, everyone who knows Wukong or doesn't know them is shouting for him at this moment. 03 After all, if Wukong loses, then the universe will definitely be destroyed. Now we can only hope that Wukong can use this energy give offset. In the picture, as Beerus continues to erupt, the white gold energy ball exuding terrifying fluctuations continues to approach Goku's direction little by little, and the terrifying golden lightning continues to erupt. As the invisible fluctuations continued to spread, the sky on the nearest Earth dimmed instantly. Trees began to rise continuously. Mountains continued to turn into gravel. The entire sea continued to boil. The entire planet had already almost on the verge of collapse. You're really encouraging, but I'm starting to get a little bored. As Beerus's voice fell, a more powerful energy burst out from his palm, causing the energy ball to continuously move towards Wukong. Ah! Wukong roared angrily. All the strength in his body emerged without any reservation, trying hard to maintain the balance of the energy ball. He would never allow it. This energy ball is not allowed to explode here, and the entire universe is not allowed to perish like this. There are his friends in the universe, his favorite Earth, his family, and even his friends. After a while, Wukong finally couldn't hold on anymore, and golden light suddenly bloomed, shining brightly on the entire Earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, and even the entire universe and all the worlds. At this moment, golden light enveloped the entire universe, and countless strong men in the heavens and worlds could not help but close their eyes, afraid to look at the next scene. This is the power of God. If you guessed correctly, the inventory video should end here. Indeed, Kakarot is so powerful that he eventually transformed into the Super Saiyan God. With the body of an ordinary Saiyan, he can stand shoulder to shoulder with this invincible god of destruction. But why is this final ending so sad? Obviously the ending can be better. Why is it like this in the end? In the Dragon Ball world, countless people's bodies were trembling, their fists were merely clenched, and the expressions on their faces were extremely complicated, and some even started to cry. The ending of the future will be like this, such a hopeless future. What's the point? They are not willing to perish like this, they still want to live on. However, the next scene gave them hope again. In the picture, as the golden light dissipates, what is replaced is not nothingness, but a world that is exactly the same as before, a universe that has not changed at all. Hey, Lord Beerus, it turns out you used that method. On Earth, Weiss looked at the two people in space from the deck and couldn't help but marvel. Countless people in the world were puzzled by this. Could it be that the horrific aftermath just now didn't destroy the entire universe? Is it because of what method the god of destruction used? Humph, I thought that I would actually use that power in the future. In the world of Dragon Ball, Beerus snorted coldly, and a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. Although he had already guessed that he would use that power to eliminate the aftermath, he was still surprised when he actually used it. What a surprise! Besides, Weiss also raised his eyebrows. In the picture, in outer space, Wukong was breathing heavily, with red flames surrounding him, and his face was full of doubts. I have reduced all energy that exists here to zero. Looking at the confused Goku, Beerus put his hands on his hips and said calmly. How can it be? Wukong's face was full of disbelief. Can do it, just use 100% of your strength. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, but Beerus' voice was still very plain. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Phila Novel Network. 100%. Under the stunned gaze of everyone, the strong men in the world gradually understood. It turns out that this god of destruction is still. I used my full strength, but just now I used my full strength for the only time. It was actually to offset the aftermath that could destroy the universe. At this moment, countless strong men in the world only felt a thunder falling from the sky, and their entire brains were confused. It's hard to imagine this guy called the god of destruction. How powerful is it that it can easily eliminate even the aftermath of destroying the universe? In the picture, after an unimportant bragging, the two fought together again. The scene was once extremely fierce, and the energy of the two was constantly increasing. Because they both used their own strength to offset the other's strength, they could do this at will. Once and for all, there will be no aftermath of destroying the universe. Bang 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 bang. In space, the two of them kept colliding, using all kinds of dirty tricks, such as headbutts, monkeys stealing peaches, gods picking grapes, and sneak attacks. They kept using many tricks. However, the power of the Super Saiyan God that was beating Goku began to fade. In this regard, Beerus also said that you are already very powerful as a Saiyan and a powerful guy. However, Wukong did not notice his own changes, and people on the earth also became aware of Wukong's aura again, while Piccolo's expression changed drastically. You know, without the power of Super Saiyan God, does this mean that Goku will lose? In response to this, countless strong men in the world also changed their expressions. You must know that Kakarot in the Super Saiyan God state is no match for Beerus, let alone the current Super Saiyan state. In the Dragon Ball world, everyone couldn't help but feel despair, and Beerus even expressed that it was over. But the next scene made them stunned. Back on the scene, Beerus thought that since Goku had returned to his normal Saiyan state, he would definitely win. However, facing Goku's attack, Beerus casually received a heavy punch from Goku, and then punch after punch landed on Beerus' face, making him feel stunned. What happened? Hasn't your Super Saiyan God power disappeared? With his hands on his hips, Beerus had a little doubt on his face. When did this happen? Looking at the golden flames around him, Wukong's face was also full of doubts, but the feeling coming from his body remained unchanged. But I don't feel weak at all. In this regard, Beerus said that it should be because the power of the Super Sailor God will not disappear because the time is up, but will merge into Goku's body and become a part of him. Since there is no impact, Goku then roared, and his breath suddenly climbing up again, heading straight towards Beerus. The two of them fought together again, going back and forth without giving in. At this moment, Goku and Beerus both burst into laughter, and the battle between gods was still going on. Going on fiercely. The two hit 440 balls from the stars to the earth, and then fought on the bottom of the sea. Two streams of light, one yellow and one purple, continued to appear. The fierce collision in the sea caused the entire sea to boil, and countless schools of fish continued to move away from the battlefield between the two. Then the two of them fought back from the sea to the sky, and then Wukong blasted him with a Qigong wave. It can't be compared to being eliminated by Beerus using his power. So, the two fought together again. However, as time passed, Goku began to lose strength and was constantly beaten by Beerus. Then, Beerus transformed into 12 clones and released purple energy bombs towards Wukong. As the terrifying energy enveloped Wukong, heaven-destroying waves swept out. Just when Beerus thought he had won, Goku suddenly exploded again and the two defeated the outer space again. However, because Goku used too much force, his power was basically used up, so he returned to his normal state and was flicked by Beerus. Returned to Earth. Just when everyone thought Beerus had won, the images of his friends on Earth appeared in Goku's mind as he fell, and then a new power surged through his body again. Not over yet, it's not finished yet. With a roar, Goku transformed into a Super Saiyan and returned to the battlefield. Beerus was stunned by this, and then said, "Wouldn't it be better if you fell like that just now?" In the end, the two decided to use anti-wave to end the battle. As the blue Qigong wave and the purple energy light ball collided, the two energies merged together again, and the dazzling light illuminated the entire universe. The two forces turned into a small sun. This terrifying energy is, even if a star-destroying powerhouse touches it, it will be instantly destroyed, but Beerus controls this energy and pushes it towards Goku. In order to protect the Earth, Goku desperately blocks this energy, and with Goku's unremitting efforts, this energy finally turned into golden light and dissipated in space. In order to stop this energy, Wukong had tried his best and lost his fighting power and fell from outer space. This showdown between the Super Saiyan God and the God of Destruction. It ended with the victory of the God of Destruction. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 185. As Wukong's body continued to fall, countless strong men in the world, warriors, fighters, and martial artists from all dimensions burst into tears. Although Kakarot was defeated in the end, his spirit is worth learning from everyone. The will that transcends limits time and time again, constantly wandering between life and death, and able to explode with more powerful power every time, is the reason why he can become so powerful. Even if you lose this battle, it will still be an honor. You know, the first Super 3 Goku was only killed by the God of Destruction in 2 seconds, but now that Goku has become the Super Saiyan God, he can fight against the strongest God of Destruction in the universe. He persisted for so long and even forced him to use his full strength. Looking at the entire universe, who can achieve this kind of achievement? Compared with these people's thoughts, more people feel excited and can't wait to experience this shocking battle in person. The real battle between gods and gods. That is a scene that countless people have never thought of. I don't know how far away from them, in another dimension, a life and death battle broke out that was so earth-shattering that it could easily destroy the entire universe. Beerus, the god of destruction, And Kakarot, the super sailor god? This is the real god. It is an existence that surpasses the cognition of countless powerful people. It is a realm that they cannot reach in their entire lives. In an instant, those ants in the entire universe who claimed to be or were worshipped as gods were extremely ashamed. In front of such truly strong men, they are just like ants on the ground, with no difference at all. Kakarot has tried his best. Facing such a powerful god of destruction, I really can't imagine anyone else who can be more powerful than him. The Super Saiyan god is indeed powerful, but the god of destruction is obviously even better. Overcoming their limits time and time again, constantly surpassing the realm of gods, the Saiyans are indeed a terrifying race. No, no, you were wrong upstairs. Although the Saiyan race is scary, the truly scary thing is Kakarot. That's right, before Kakarot appeared, the Saiyan clan was ruled by Frisia, and it wasn't until this lower warrior appeared that the name of the Saiyans was completely resounding throughout the world. Tianwanja. However, a defeat is a defeat. Next, Beerus, the god of destruction, will destroy the earth. Is this how the review video will end? I'm not willing to give in, I'm not willing to give in. Kakarot is obviously still so young and he can still become stronger. If you give him a little more time, he will definitely be able to surpass the god of destruction. Haha, the winner is the king and the loser is the loser. If you lose, you lose. What's the reason? Even so, losing at the hands of the god of destruction is not a shame. In the screen, countless barrages passed by. Some people were impressed by Kakarot's unyielding will, others were lamenting the power of the god of destruction, and some were worried about the end of the earth. Wukong, did you lose in the end? I'm really unwilling to accept it. In the world of Dragon Ball. Klin clenched his fists, his face full of unwillingness. Wukong has tried his best, and the next outcome is left to fate. Besides, Turtle Immortal couldn't help but sigh, and then looked up at the sky 45 degrees, his eyes full of determination. If the earth is completely destroyed at that time in the future, then he must watch the CDs he has treasured for many years again. Once again, and then travel around the world to appreciate the beauties from all over the world. You must not waste your time like this. Card, Kakarot, even the Super Saiyan God can't defeat the Destroyer. On the spaceship, Vegeta's face was full of disappointment, but his heart was full of excitement. If they lose in the future, it doesn't mean they will lose now. As long as they continue to practice hard from now on, then raise everyone's strength to the level of Super Saiyan God. Even Beerus, the god of destruction, will probably have to walk around when he sees him, right? It's interesting, I'm already looking forward to the next battle. In the god of destruction, Beerus smiled faintly, and then lay on the bed again. At this moment, he was not very interested in the next scene. After all, the battle was over, and it didn't matter whether the planet was destroyed or not. It was on Earth. What a pity the food is. Lord Beerus, why don't we go to Earth to eat something first? At this time, Whis on the side suggested. In response to this, Beerus instantly became energetic. After all, as the god of destruction, it would be somewhat undesirable if he took the initiative to say that he would go to Earth to eat delicious food, and the race on Earth, the demi-humans, are still very weak now. I'm afraid they will be scared to death. But since it was Whis who said it, I don't think so. So, the two of them turned into a stream of light and flew quickly towards the Earth. A Super Saiyan god that can fight the god of destruction? Although your strength is much weaker than Jiren, you can still be considered the top powerhouse in the 12 universes except for the god of destruction and angels. In Universe 11, Toppo said to Jiren on the side. Jiren was silent and didn't say much. Instead, he looked at Kakarot in the screen and didn't know what he was thinking. In the picture, Goku's falling body was caught by Vegeta. Fortunately, although the injury was serious, it was not fatal. However, since Goku lost the fight, as agreed, Beerus still has to destroy the Earth. Buzz. As the dazzling purple light waves gathered in Beerus's hands, the terrifying energy that could easily destroy the Earth continued to spread, an unparalleled sense of oppression, and the terrifying power continued to spread, sweeping across the heavens and the world. However, under the desperate eyes of Piccolo and others as well as countless people in the world, Beerus, who was about to make a wave, actually fell asleep, and the terrifying power dissipated instantly. Seems to be asleep. Walking into Beerus' body, Whis looked at Beerus' appearance, couldn't help but smile and said it's no wonder, he usually eats, sleeps, watches cartoons, and is used to being lazy. Using all your strength before you have warmed up, after all, it is not enough, and Lord Beerus will sleep for a long time. When he wakes up again, he may have forgotten about destroying the Earth. Countless people in all the worlds felt dumbfounded by this, but smart people had already guessed that Beerus planned to let the Earth go by pretending to sleep, and Whis had just laid the steps. After all, how could two foodies be willing to destroy the Earth, the holy land of food? Sure enough, as the camera turned, the two came to outer space, constantly shuttling through the white space under the light green barrier. How long are you going to pretend to be asleep? The nose is still blowing bubbles, which is really not your style. Looking at Beerus, who was blowing bubbles from his nose next to him, Whis' faint voice came out. I really fell asleep. With a cold snort, Beerus sat cross-legged proudly. The Earth is really a wonderful planet. It seems to have incredible power, and it even changed the Violentians. It has also changed Lord Beerus. What did you say? I'm sorry, but when you told Wukong that you acknowledged him and used all your energy, it was just a little lie to elicit his full strength. I guess you understand, To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. In response to the conversation between the two, countless people in the world widened their eyes and opened their mouths so much that they almost filled several eggs. It was unbelievable. That terrifying energy that can easily annihilate and destroy the aftermath of the universe is actually not the full strength of the God of Destruction. So how powerful is the God of Destruction? And some people discovered that the inventory video is not over yet. Doesn't that mean that Kakarot will become stronger in the future? Can he even one day rival the God of Destruction, who is going all out? But who will be the next enemy? In the picture, Wukong began to eat, and then the group started a new life happily. After that, Goku started training to fish for work again, while Vegeta began to think hard in the wilderness in order to surpass Kakarot and even surpass the God of Destruction, and finally had no choice but to return home. When Vegeta returned home, he suddenly saw that Whis was there, and he stayed with his wife Bulma and often had meals together. As a result, Vegeta felt a little green on his head for a moment, and then Bulma went to have a meal with Whis. Vegeta immediately became angry when he saw it, and wanted to attack Whis, but found that Whis was invulnerable and could not attack at all. Whis. Who are you? You are definitely not the butler of the God of Destruction. Looking at Whis' figure, Vegeta couldn't help but yelled. Didn't I say that? Turning around, Whis had a faint smile on his face, and then said that since you ask sincerely, I will tell you mercifully. I am not only the housekeeper and nanny of the God of Destruction, but also his master. Moreover, he is even more powerful than Beerus, and can be said to be the undisputed strongest man in the universe. In response to this, countless powerful people in the entire universe were instantly stunned. Although they knew that Whis was very strong, they didn't expect that he would be Beerus's master, and that he would be even stronger than Zhao's Beerus. This is really unbelievable. Why are such terrifying strong men popping up one by one? Of course, although most people were shocked, those superpowers who could feel Whis' strength had calm expressions on their faces. After all, when Whis first appeared on the scene, they already felt a stronger threat from him than Beerus, the God of Destruction. Break, the master of Beerus, the God of Destruction. In the pirate world, Luffy and the others couldn't help but exclaimed. Everyone looked at each other with disbelief on their faces. And, his strength is actually more powerful than the god of destruction. How powerful must he be? Besides, the 3 knives on Sauron's waist fell on the deck, and his pupils continued to shrink violently. That god of destruction, Beerus, was actually taught by Whis, in the world of the god of death. Aizen's eyes widened, filled with incomparable shock, and his whole body couldn't help but tremble violently. It's unbelievable that the god of destruction actually has a master, and his master is actually stronger than him. Could it be said that Whis is the end of biological evolution? No. Impossible, it must be a joke. How could Beerus have a master, and his master is actually stronger than him? At this moment, the powerful men from all major dimensions made sounds that sounded like they were talking in sleep. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 186. At this moment, countless strong men showed horrified expressions. You know, they didn't pay attention to Dawes at first. Although he was very fast, he didn't attract many people's attention. After all, even Gaku and Kaioshin have the magical ability of teleportation. As the butler of Beerus, the god of destruction, it is not that surprising to have such a strange ability. Even if he is stronger, it doesn't matter. But, isn't this too powerful? Sky, God, that unattractive Whis, it's actually more powerful than the god of destruction. In the world of Naruto, the long-established strong men of the major shadow villages, the Hokage of the 5 villages, the Akatsuki organization, and the shadow-level strong men of all generations in the land of death were all shocked at this moment. In the universe, Atsutsuki Momoshiki and others were stunned on the spot, their faces full of disbelief. Originally they thought that the god of destruction was the only true god of the universe, the strongest man in the universe. But now Whis said that he was the god of destruction below. C's master, and more powerful than the god of destruction. This is impossible, I don't believe it. In the world of One Punch Man, the hungry wolf couldn't help roaring and trembling uncontrollably, that Whis must be lying. How could he be more powerful than the god of destruction? There can't be anything more powerful than the god of destruction in this world. God is a more powerful being. When the god of destruction Beerus defeated Gaku, the hungry wolf was completely conquered by Beerus, and at that time Beerus had not yet used his full strength. But now a little servant is brazenly saying that he is the master of the god of destruction and is more powerful than the god of destruction? This is definitely a lie, this is impossible, it must be that Whis who is pretending in front of Vegeta and the others. Master of the god of destruction? No wonder, it all makes sense. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, an ancient supreme being in 123 of the restricted area of life suddenly realized it, but then fell into deep thought again. You know, Whis' strength is very likely to reach the legendary immortal. And he is also the master of Beerus, the god of destruction, but why does he always act like a servant in front of Beerus? You know, how could a super strong man who was suspected to be an immortal, but could easily crush an emperor-level existence, be willing to submit to an existence that was countless times weaker than him? Unless. After thinking about it carefully, the Supreme Being couldn't help but look horrified at this moment, and then informed the Supreme Beings in various restricted areas of his thoughts, and received the approval of most people, and those beings were also affected by his thoughts. Shocked. In an instant, the entire Emperor Burial Star was turbulent. Terrifying divine thoughts covered the sky. Scenes that seemed to destroy the world and destroy the world continued to burst out, making countless people tremble in fear. And that being came to the conclusion that there are even more powerful beings in the Dragon Ball world than Beavis and the god of destruction Beerus, and it is even possible that they could be wiped out with one finger or even in one breath. It was such an incomparably powerful existence that made him, a super strong man with suspected immortal level strength, willing to succumb to the command of a great emperor. Interestingly, above the existence of the true immortal level, there is the immortal king level. Could it be that in a small Dragon Ball world, there is a super strong person of the immortal king level? In the perfect world, the powerful immortal kings of the alien race showed strange eyes, and for the first time they began to feel a little excited about the Dragon Ball world. If a powerful immortal king level could appear in a small Dragon Ball world, that has to make them pay attention. After all, it is not easy to be born as a strong person at the level of immortal king. Every immortal king is an extremely terrifying existence, and some of the best ones can be killed easily. A strong person at the level of an ordinary immortal king. The Dragon Ball world system is different from that of their world. If they can peek into some of their Taoist rules, it will benefit them a lot and even take a step forward. Compare, Lord Beerus hasn't used his full strength yet, and Whis is actually Lord Beerus' master. In the world of Dragon Ball, Goku couldn't help but open his mouth, his face full of shock. You know, he will be extremely powerful in the future, but he has not been able to draw out Beerus' full strength. Moreover, now that Whis, who is more powerful than Beerus, has appeared, what is happening to this world? Why are superpowers emerging one after another? Located in the spaceship, Vegeta slumped down on his seat and couldn't help but feel a thump in his heart. The original Ruyi carousel was a complete miscalculation. Beerus, the god of destruction, has not yet used his full strength, and Whis on the side is actually more powerful than the god of destruction. Even if all their Saiyans reach the level of Super Saiyan God in the future, they may not be able to fight. Can't beat them. Yeah, my future self would actually say such nonsense. I'm so sorry, Lord Beerus. On the way to Earth, Whis looked at the words spoken by his future self and couldn't help but apologize to Beerus. However, there was no humility in his tone. Humph, what you said is all the truth, so what's wrong with it? Beerus snorted on the side without thinking too much. Although he didn't want to admit it, Whis was indeed countless times more powerful than him. Even he, the god of destruction, didn't even have the courage to take action against him. No. That kind of disparity in strength simply doesn't exist in the same dimension. In the scene, after learning about Whis's identity and strength, Vegeta knelt down on the spot and asked Whis to teach him. And in the end, Vegeta, thanks to Ta's unremitting efforts, Whis finally agreed to teach Vegeta and take him to the god of destruction for training. Half a year later, Goku discovered that Vegeta had gone to the Star of Destruction, and then at Wukong's request, Whis agreed to take him to the Star of Destruction for training. As a result, the two strongest Saiyans in the universe began to work as nannies for Beerus. And this scene also made countless powerful people in the world say they couldn't believe it. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Some people even said that if their family had these two Saiyans as nannies, even if any powerful enemy came, they would not dare to enter. After finishing the job of being a nanny, it's time to start practicing. The first project is to pick up a scale and walk around the god of destruction. Even though it looks like a simple scale, Goku and Vegeta can't pick it up even if they try their best. Even the two strongest Saiyans couldn't pick up such a heavy weight, which really baffled countless strong people. You know, how powerful are Saiyans? I'm afraid even a planet can be lifted, right? But now I can't even lift a small scale. This means that this scale is at least much heavier than the weight of a planet. In the picture, when they finally picked it up, the road behind them was disappearing little by little, and if they fell, they would never be able to come back. So, the two of them could only lift the weight and run away. And while they were running, Whis moved them to where Beerus was, and were hit by a cannonball from the sleeping Beerus. But fortunately, the strength of the two of them has long been different from before, and they can't bear much damage if they are shot in the front. After a day of hard work, the training was finally over. The tired Goku lay on the bed as soon as he came back, while Vegeta was still practicing desperately alone in order to surpass Goku. This made the strong men in countless worlds ashamed. Let's just call Vegeta the first volume king of the universe. However, the human body still needs to rest. During the rest process, it will repair the fatigue of the day. If you continue to exercise for a long time without rest, it will be detrimental to growth. Wukong has been deeply taught by Kamizen Ryu martial arts since he was a child. Eat well, rest well, and enjoy life well. However, Vegeta has been gifted since he was a child and has never been exposed to earthly martial arts, so he does not have the essence of such martial arts. Later, Whis also said that Vegeta fell behind Goku because he stretched his nerves too much and his body did not get a good rest. Hearing this, the strong men in the world who had been practicing hard without making any progress suddenly realized that it turned out that they had been stagnant because they had been practicing for a long time without getting any rest, so their strength progress was very slow. So, as they began to combine work and rest, some people's martial arts greatly increased and became new peerless masters, while some people's cultivation levels were also improved, allowing many strong people who had been distressed to further improve. So that's what it is. No wonder I've never been able to surpass Kakarot in the future. That's what it's like. In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta couldn't help but his eyes lit up, and then he secretly made up his mind. This time when I go to Earth, I will find that lecherous turtle immortal old man to become my disciple. Then he goes to practice with the King of Kai, and waits for Whis to come to Earth to practice with him, so that one day he can surpass Kakarot. Gee, I didn't expect you to be willing to teach these two. On Earth, Beerus, who was eating delicious food, couldn't help but raised his eyebrows. Both of them have pretty good talents, especially Kakarot. His talent is no worse than yours, and he might surpass you one day in the future. With a faint smile, Whis didn't pay too much attention. However, everyone on the Earth was frightened when they saw the two of them. Some senior leaders directly ordered that all their requests must be met, otherwise once the god of destruction becomes angry, maybe the Earth will be destroyed. In the picture, the two people started a new training the next day, that is, they joined forces to attack Whis, but their attacks were easily dodged by Whis. And the two of them didn't have the slightest spirit of cooperation, so they were pushed away by Whis, and then they began to talk about the shortcomings of the two. First of all, Vegeta always had to think before making moves, but after thinking with his brain, things have to be transmitted to the body through the nerves, which will affect the speed of the move. The body must learn to judge by itself. In this way, no matter what kind of danger, you can avoid it, but it is difficult. Just even Beerus can't be perfect, but Whis can without a doubt. In response to this, another group of people in the world suddenly realized, began to change their habits, and their strength was greatly improved. Although they did not achieve what Whis said about letting the body learn to judge for itself, it also benefited them a lot. Even the supreme level experts began to increase their strength little by little after being reminded by Whis. As a result, a group of fanatical fans who call themselves Whis disciples appeared in all the worlds. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 187. I have mastered the 9 Yin Manual, and now I am invincible in the world. It's great. Just a few words from Teacher Whis, I actually broke through a big realm. +1+1, I was originally just a Jonin of Konoha village, but I didn't expect that I would reach the cage level by training Kakarot and Vegeta through a method similar to that taught by Whis. Mr. Whis is truly a god. My spiritual pressure has broken through from the vice captain level to the captain level. Hum, I'm not bad either. Originally I was just the hero in our world, but now I have become the S-hero. Cut. I was originally a semi-saint, but now I have broken through to the saint level. I am just a group of ants. I am the ancient supreme being in the restricted area of life. I was originally an emperor-level powerhouse. I became the supreme after killing myself, but now my strength has begun to slowly grow. I was originally the supreme and powerful person on earth, but I am stuck in this realm. Years have passed, but fortunately I listened to Teacher Weiss's words. After combining work and rest, I actually broke through to the heavenly supreme. In the screen, countless barrages passed by. After Weiss's words, countless strong men actually made breakthroughs again, and then they continued to praise Weiss in the barrage, which made Weiss his popularity suddenly soared. In the Dragon Ball world, Weiss had a confused look on his face, staring blankly at the students who called him teacher on the barrage. After a moment, Weiss shook his head, a faint smile appearing on his face. Although he was a little surprised, after all, what he said was not a magical method, but he did not expect that so many people would benefit from it. This was really beyond his expectation. Yo, Wes, I didn't expect that your students are already all over the world. Besides, Beerus couldn't help but joked. So that's it, no wonder this king has been stuck in a bottleneck during this period. I understand. Deep in the universe, an excited expression appeared on Frisia's face, and the golden light on his body was very dazzling. So that's it, Weiss is right, I must correct it and let my body learn to judge for itself. In the spaceship, Vegeta couldn't help but get excited. In the picture, after being taught by Weiss, Goku also understood his shortcomings, and then began a long training. On the other side, Frisia's fleet was in Sobel under the leadership of, he found the Dragon Balls on Earth and made a wish to resurrect Frisia. Seeing this, Frisia in the Dragon Ball world couldn't help but his eyes lit up, and then he covered his mouth and laughed, oh he, I didn't expect that. Bell is quite clever and actually resurrected me in the future. Then, Frisia summoned Sobel and rewarded him greatly in front of everyone in Frisia's fleet. However, in response to Frisia's resurrection, the faces of most people in the world, they are all full of disdain. You know, Frisia's strength cannot even be defeated by Kakarot, who had just turned into a Super Saiyan, let alone Kakarot, who is now able to fight the god of destruction. If it's okay for Frisia to hide safely, but if he makes trouble for the Saiyans, he's asking for death. It's just little Frisia, nothing to be afraid of. In the spaceship, Vegeta sneered, his heart filled with disdain. After witnessing the battle between the god of destruction and the Super Saiyan god, Frisia was nothing in his eyes, and his future self was far from the same. He's much stronger than Frisia, and even he can't make any waves. Frisia is resurrected? But fortunately, Goku and the others have become very strong now. Even Frisia doesn't dare to go to Earth anymore, right? On Earth, Krillin and others looked at the scene with some surprise on their faces, but they didn't take it to heart. Returning to the scene, the resurrected Frisia learned through his subordinates that the Saiyans had given Majin Buu to after destroying Majin Buu, with a little surprise on his face. Majin Buu? My dad said, don't mess with Beerus, the god of destruction, and Majin Buu, are you right? Ah, yes, after receiving the affirmation from his subordinates. Frisia did not have a fearful expression on his face. Instead, the corners of his mouth began to rise slightly, and he slowly said in a cold and excited voice, that's beyond my imagination. But it's quite interesting. You know, I was born a genius, with a combat power of 120 million when I was born, and I have never received training, so there is no need. I wonder how it will change? If I train to reach my full potential. According to my estimation, as long as I train hard for 4 months, I can easily surpass those guys. Oh, I really want to see it 4 months later. As Frisia's voice fell, countless strong men in the world felt cold all over their bodies. A fear from the soul rushed straight into the Tianling cap. The fear that Frisia ruled in the past spread all over the body again. One born with 120 million? And never trained. With this terrifying talent, if trained, it is really possible to become significantly stronger in a short period of time. Moreover, the Saiyan family, there is a legend of the Super Saiyan God, so maybe there is also a clan of frozen demons. If this is the case, a major crisis will once again envelope the Earth. In the world of Dragon Ball, Piccolo and others on the Earth, hearing Frieza's words, his face changed drastically. He couldn't help but widen his eyes, his face full of disbelief. He was born with 120 million. What a powerful talent it is. Even when Goku was just born, there are only 2 points of fighting power. This is 60 million times what Goku was when he was just born. This is too scary. Is the Earth really going to face the fear caused by Frieza again? In the God of Destruction, Beerus and Whis looked calm. They also knew about Frieza's talent. Otherwise, Beerus wouldn't have been so shocked when Frieza was killed. After all, if Frieza trains hard, it is really possible to surpass Goku and the others in 4 months and reach the realm of God. However, it is still harmful to develop potential quickly. In the picture, Wukong and Wukong are constantly sparring in mid-air, and Whis is also teaching from time to time. The battle between the two is extremely fierce, and many people are shocked by their speed and strength. Boom! As the two punched out, a burst of blue flames suddenly exploded where the two fists collided. The breath of God instantly filled the air, making Whis, who was watching the two people practice, feel a little surprised. Just, when the blue flames burst out just now, I really wished I couldn't feel the breath of either of them. And, exactly the same as when he was Super Saiyan God. That's right, and this blue arrogance makes me feel even more powerful than the previous red arrogance. Looking at this scene, the faces of countless people in the world were shocked, and the fear in their hearts caused by Frieza's resurrection and those words faded a lot unexpectedly. In such a short period of time, the two of them, there was a new breakthrough: to read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Now it seems that even if Frieza succeeds in training and attacks in 4 months, he may not be a match for Goku and the others. In the picture, Beerus, the God of Destruction, woke up from his dream and saw at a glance that the two of them had bribed Whis through delicious food to come to the God of Destruction to practice. Then Beerus looked at the two of them and expressed why he wanted to try every means to change. Strong, is it because he wants to become the God of Destruction? Goku said he just wanted to become stronger, while Vegeta said he didn't want to be surpassed by Kakarot. Then the two of them were able to continue practicing on the God of Destruction through the temptation of delicious food. So, 4 months passed in the blink of an eye, and Frieza's army also arrived on Earth. Fortunately, thanks to Gok's reminder, everyone on Earth also learned that Frieza would arrive, so they made preparations 1 hour in advance. They made preparations, but because Goku and Vegeta were on the Destruction planet, they were unable to contact them in time. As the huge spaceship landed on the Earth, the densely packed Frieza Legion flew out of the spacecraft, and only a few people, including Gohan, Piccolo, Tianjin Fan, and Krillin, came to fight, and even Gohan, he didn't even wear martial arts uniforms, just wearing casual clothes. Bulma originally wanted Gohan to go up and blast Frieza, but at this time Gohan had turned into Nobi Gohan, saying that Frieza is too powerful now, I can only deal with the minions, I'm afraid I can't beat him. On the other side, following Frieza's order, thousands of soldiers rushed forward. What is unexpected is that the Kame Immortal's sword suddenly turned into a muscle shape, and it was very easy to deal with those soldiers. And Kame Sennin is so brave, let alone Gohan, Piccolo, and Tianjin Fan. But only the bald Klin, recalling the previous scene of being crushed by Frieza, didn't dare to do anything at all. Frieza saw this, and then sent his soldiers to surround Krillin. But fortunately, after being reminded by Kame Sennin, Klin suddenly realized what he was doing, and then instantly eliminated dozens of soldiers. So a melee started. On the other side, Goku and Vegeta were still practicing leisurely on the God of Destruction, unaware of what was happening on Earth. Beerus, the god of destruction, felt that the Tusians were fighting all day long and it was too noisy, so he asked Whis to throw them into a different dimension. On Earth, under the fierce offensive of Gohan and others, thousands of Frisia Legion soldiers were sacrificed, so the strongest warrior of Frisia Legion, Red Bull, was dispatched. However, Tagima on the side looked disdainful. Since the other side has sent the strongest warrior, the Earth warriors have also sent Nobi Gohan. However, facing the strongest warrior Red Bull, Nobi Gohan's Kigong bombs were of no use, and instead he was hugged tightly by him. Since Xiao Fang had just been born, Gohan didn't want to kill, but now he couldn't kill anyone, and just when Gohan was about to become a Super Saiyan. In the astonished eyes of countless people in the world, Tagima in the distance penetrated the hearts of Red Bull and Gohan with a key bomb. Looking at the scene in front of them, countless powerful people in the world were stunned, their faces full of disbelief. You know, Gohan has strength beyond Super 3. Even the original Majin Buu could only be easily ravaged by him. But now, the extremely powerful Gohan was pierced through the heart by a kid and a key bomb, and he was on the verge of death. God, is the world crazy? 4. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 188. At this moment, countless powerful people in the entire universe were stunned on the spot, and all major dimensions fell into deathly silence. From the Supreme Being in the restricted area of life to the warriors from countless worlds, at this moment they only felt a thunder falling from their heads, turning them into little fools. Hey, are you sure this Gohan is really the Gohan who beat Cell and hammered Demon Buu? In the pirate world, the 4 emperors at the top of the sea widened their eyes and almost vomited out the lunch they had just eaten. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that the mysterious Gohan, who was so powerful that he surpassed the 3rd level of Super Saiyan, was unexpectedly attacked by a seemingly incompetent warrior from Frisia's Legion. And almost died on the spot. What is going on, that Gohan, who is so powerful, who claims to have stepped into the realm of gods, was almost killed by an ant. In the world of death, Aizen sat paralyzed on the spot, his face full of shock, his eyes revealing confusion, and his whole head was shaking like a rattle, as if something happened far beyond his understanding. How can it be, how could just that attack break his defense? In the world of One Punch Man, even Chi-08 Jade was stunned at this moment. Not to mention anything else, it was just that ordinary looking energy, although it contained concentrated energy that could destroy the planet. Terrifying power, but even if he was hit in the face, it would probably be just a scratch. But Gohan, whose strength far surpassed him, was actually killed by such a move. Sure enough, the system of the Dragon Ball world is too weak. No matter how strong their aura becomes, they are just human bodies after all. In the world of one leaf covering the sky, a certain existence in the restricted area of life couldn't help but taunted. You know. In their world, a strong man like Gohan who has cultivated to the level of Gohan can resist 10 times the head-on, 100 times such a terrifying attack, or even continuous bombing for a whole day. I'm afraid not even a hair will fall off. But the people in the Dragon Ball world are different. Although they cultivate their bodies, they have no so-called heavenly materials and earthly treasures to use. Enhance the strength of the body, so when they fight, they will always use powerful chi to wrap the entire body, allowing the powerful chi to offset the terrifying attacks. Obviously, Gohan did not use a powerful aura to wrap his body at this moment, so his body was like tissue paper in front of the energy bomb. And this is also the reason why the restricted area of life and even most powerful worlds look down on the Dragon Ball world. Are you sure that is the mysterious Gohan from back then? Not the future Nobita. In the world of Dora, Fat Tiger couldn't help but complain. He looks quite similar to the future Nobita, but it is obvious that he is indeed Gohan, but he may have changed his surname to Nobi Gohan. On the side, Ziofa couldn't help but complain along with Fat Tiger. That's right, they had seen the future Nobita before, and the current Gohan did look a lot like the future Nobita. But what they couldn't help complaining about was that Sun Wuhan, who they once worshipped as their idol, had now turned into such a weak look, which made them feel uncomfortable. That's why the more people worship him, the moment he falls from the altar, he will be subjected to countless abuses and doubts. Of course, there are those who question and defend, but in the barrage that surges like a tide, it is only a drop in the ocean. Snort. Kakarote's good-for-nothing son could be killed so easily, it was such a disgrace to the Saiyans. In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta's face was full of anger and his whole body was trembling uncontrollably. In any case, he could not have imagined that Gohan, who once surpassed him, would be defeated by such a little guy. Hands. Although his strength is not necessarily comparable to this guy named Takuma, Gohan's true strength surpasses him countless times, but he was unexpectedly attacked so easily. This can only mean that Gohan is too stupid to live in a woman's belly for so many years. This guy Gohan, have you not practiced cultivation for so many years? In the northern Kaiwang, Gaku couldn't help but frown, and a little anger emerged in his heart. Not only because Takuma almost killed Gohan, but also because he was angry at Gohan's incompetence. Obviously, it is clear that the future Gohan's strength has surpassed him for a time, but he did not make good use of his talent. Moreover, they don't even have the most basic daily training. Otherwise, Gohan would not have been so easily attacked by Takuma at this moment. Even if he was careless, the energy in his body would be enough to detect the crisis in an instant and protect himself. However, Gohan has not practiced for so many years, and his body has begun to deteriorate. Just like an adult man, if he only knows how to eat, sleep, eat, and eat in a day, then his physical fitness and abilities will continue to deteriorate, and may even cause him to suffer from various difficult and complicated diseases. And this is the case with Gohan in front of him. After a long period of slacking off, his fighting instinct has been far degraded. It is even worse than when he was fighting Vegeta and others when he was a child, and the powerful aura on his body has also been due to excessive comfort. Had long forgotten self-protection, and huddled in Gohan's body all day long, getting weaker bit by bit over time. Moreover, Gohan was just in an explosive state, and the breath filled his body due to his own guidance, causing the breath in his body to be too weak, so he was penetrated by a blow. This is the main reason why Gohan was severely injured by Takuma's blow. In the barrage, most people fell silent after some strong men revealed the reason why Gohan was severely injured by minions. After all, comfortable days are always the most relaxing, and with Goku and Vegeta guarding the earth, and Gohan only doing work and lying on Vidal's belly for a long time, it's quite acceptable. After all, there is a difference between before marriage and after marriage. This Nobi Gohan has obviously been drained by Vidal. In the picture, thanks to Piccolo's ability and the senzu beans, Gohan's life was saved. Piccolo also said that it seems that there is a reason for Frisia's legion to be so arrogant. Later, Takuma said that he had been training with Frisia, so his strength had improved qualitatively, and his strength had surpassed that of the original Captain Jinyu. As the screen continued to change, in order to summon Goku, Vegeta, and others from the God of Destruction, Gohan roared, and his powerful aura shot straight into the sky, successfully making Goku feel Gohan's aura, and then he was able to use teleportation. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. At this moment, Gohan, who was completely exhausted, only felt that his body was hollowed out, and he stood there with dull eyes, feeling that his soul was fainting at this moment. Just when Frieza was about to kill Gohan, Goku appeared in front of Gohan in time and swatted away Frieza's death ray with a wave of his hand. Then, after some unnecessary talk, Goku and Frieza started a decisive battle. After the two continued to test each other, the final showdown between Goku and Frieza began. Then let you see what true despair is. Closing his eyes, Golden arrogance exploded around Wukong. The violent azure blue thunder continued to dance, and the powerful aura continued to rise. What surprised Frisia and countless people in the world was that Goku's hair and eyebrows were still black at this moment, not in the state of Super Saiyan. Buzz. As a burst of dazzling blue light shines around Wukong, the star-like light shines on the entire sky with Wukong as the center. Invisible pressure continues to spread, and only Wukong's body covered by the blue light can be vaguely seen. Wrapped body. What is even more shocking is that as the dazzling blue light continues to shine, Wukong's aura actually disappears bit by bit, making it difficult for countless strong people in the world to feel it. Disaster. Could it be that Kakarot is going to transform into a Super Saiyan god? In the world of Dragon Ball, Vegeta couldn't help but exclaimed. Similar scenes were constantly reflected in all the major dimensions of the world. Countless strong men in the entire world watched with bated breath. Following the changes in Kakarot. Click. Click. As the blue light covering Wukong's body continued to turn into fragments and dispersed, Wukong's body began to appear in everyone's eyes. The gorgeous sky blue thorns hair, blue eyebrows, blue eyes. Even the gauntlets, shoes under his feet and even the ribbon around his waist were turned blue at this moment. Boom. As Kakarot opened his eyes again, sky blue flames exploded around him, and holy white thunder continued to dance around him. The extremely holy aura filled Wukong's body, causing countless people in the world to the strong man feels extremely holy. Just like the light of God covering the mortal body. At this moment, the powerful men from countless dimensions suddenly stood up and stared at Kakarot in front of them, their pupils shrinking continuously, and their whole bodies couldn't help but tremble. No doubt. This is Super Saiyan God. And, it is a new realm beyond Super Saiyan God Red. The realm of God. The new form of Super Saiyan God, Super Blue form. Super Blue Wukong appeared in front of everyone for the first time. Audiences from countless worlds widened their eyes, unable to feel the aura emanating from Wukong in the picture in front of them. But it is not difficult to imagine how powerful Wukong is now. This will be a brand new posture, and a more powerful posture. Sky blue arrogance. It was like a god coming down to earth, baptizing the entire earth, and even the entire world. All eyes were captured by this extremely gorgeous scene at this moment. In the Dragon Ball world, the god of destruction and the angel Whis, who were eating delicious food on earth, suddenly stood up and looked at Goku on the screen in disbelief. Although I have seen Goku and Vegeta produce this kind of aura when they collide before. But how could humans, in just 4 months, you have reached this level through cultivation? You must know that Beerus and Whis estimate that it will take at least a year for the two of them to reach this level, and it may even take longer. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 189. What a terrifying cultivation speed. My cultivation speed wasn't that fast back then, right? Raising his eyebrows, a look of surprise appeared in Beerus's eyes. Indeed, Goku and Vegeta are indeed very talented, and judging from Vegeta's reaction, it is very likely that he has reached the same level. Besides, Whis couldn't help but nodded. You know, it's almost impossible for humans to reach such a state in a short time. Even Beerus spent a lot of time cultivating to this state. For a long time. At this moment, Goku has truly entered the realm of gods and become a Super Saiyan god, and he is the one who does not need to rely on the 5 Saiyans with righteous hearts. All over the world, countless strong men were shocked by the appearance of Super Blue Wukong. It's unbelievable that Kakarot actually surpassed the limit again and reached a new realm in a short period of time. Sure enough, there is a way to transform into a Super Saiyan god without relying on the 5 Heart of Justice Saiyans, and it seems to be stronger than the red form. In the spaceship, Vegeta's face was full of excitement, feeling that he had found a new continent. After all, the method of relying on ancient legends is still an external force and does not belong to oneself. And this kind of achievement achieved through practice super blue form is the real way. And looking at his future performance, it is obvious that he has also reached this field, which obviously shows that Weiss's teachings are extremely effective. Hateful, the damn smelly monkey actually became stronger in a short period of time. Located in the depths of the universe, Frisia's face became extremely ferocious. 04 The violent aura continued to sweep across the starry sky. You know, it took him 4 months to surpass this group of Sians, but now they are actually there again. He has become stronger, and it is very likely that this power will not be much worse than that of himself after 4 months of training. At the same time, countless strong people in the animation world, fairy world, film and television world, and fantasy world once again felt deep despair, and a feeling of powerlessness came to my heart again. This Kakarot, he actually became stronger again and reached a new level. The 4 emperors, captain of the Gotei 13th team, Aizen Sosuke, past Hokages, the Otsutsuki clan, Boros, the strongest god King Poseidon Tang-san, the endless fire domain Entei, the warrior ancestor, the thunder god Thor, Superman, Thanos, Luo Feng, they all looked desperate. This gap in strength can no longer be made up through hard work. No matter how hard they practice, even if one day is turned into 100 hours, and they are allowed to practice for countless epochs, they still cannot reach Kakarot's current super blue level. This is a level beyond their dimension, a level that cannot be compared to the dimension they are in. In the picture, looking at Gaku in his super blue form, surrounded by sky blue flames, Frisia's pupils suddenly shrank, and his face was filled with disbelief. At this moment, I can no longer feel the breath coming from Wukong. After a moment, Frisia reacted and clenched his fists, gritted his teeth and looked at Gaku in front of him, feeling a huge wave in his heart. You know, he is a genius of the Frozen Demon clan. He practiced hard for 4 months and exhausted his potential before barely reaching this level. But the Sian monkey in front of him has actually reached a level close to him. Suddenly I can't feel Gaku's breath. It seems that Gaku has become a Super Saiyan god, and Gaku's hair has turned blue. It's very strange that the god of destruction was red when fighting. On the ground, Klin's eyes widened and he couldn't help but sigh. This kid Wukong must have upgraded again. With his hands behind his back, a smile of relief appeared on Kami Zenran's face. After all, he, as a teacher, feels extremely proud to be able to watch his disciples surpass their limits and reach new levels again and again. How strong does he have to become before he is satisfied? This guy Wukong, looking at Wukong floating in mid-air, Klin couldn't help but smile bitterly. And this is also the voice of countless powerful people in the world. Although they watched Kakarot getting stronger and stronger along the way, they also felt extremely excited. But as Kakarot's strength left them far behind, they began to become worried again. After all, when you watch an ordinary boy surpass you step by step and reach the top of the world, although you will feel extremely gratified, you will also feel a sense of sadness at the same time. That, the existence that you once regarded as a competitor, or even despised, has reached the point where you need to look up to it. At this time, how desperate and powerless you will feel in your heart. Interesting. Crossing his arms, Frisia said calmly. Don't be so harsh, Frisia. It seems a bit boastful to say this, but I'm pretty good. Seeing through Frisia's disguise, Gaku couldn't help but joked. It's just a Super Saiyan. It's a little different. This is a Super Saiyan with the energy of a Super Saiyan god. Now it's your turn to show me the results of your hard work. I never thought that I could compete with the Saiyan god. However, facing Gaku in super blue form, Frisia did not feel the slightest fear, but his face was still full of confidence. Then, let me show you all my strength. As Frisia finished speaking, streams of energy like golden flames continued to emerge from his body. of noise of sound ss of voiced roaring sound of 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 the 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 sound of. The golden aura exploded around him, completely covering him, and the golden aura emitted by Frisia was obviously more intense than the golden aura emitted by the Super Saiyan. Boom! In an instant. The whole sky dimmed in an instant, thunder and lightning continued to crash down from the dark clouds covering the sky, the whole planet began to shake continuously, and the earth under everyone's feet continued to crack at this moment, bit by bit like an abyss. Cracks appeared in everyone's eyes, and the mountains in the distance continued to explode. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. At this moment, Frisia's aura continued to rise, and the golden arrogance suddenly surged again. Dozens of times, terrifying visions of heaven and earth continued to appear in front of everyone's eyes. As Frisia roared crazily, Frisia, bathed in golden flames, burst into a dazzling golden light. In an instant, the entire planet was shrouded in golden light, and even the countless powerful people in the world who were watching the scene were almost blinded by this golden light at this moment. Buzz. As the golden light continued to shine, the world fell into daylight. Finally, as the golden flames dissipated little by little, Frisia, bathed in dazzling light, slowly appeared in everyone's eyes. As a burst of extremely shocking music sounded, powerful creatures emitting golden light, with a few purple spots in between, were approaching Frisia's appearance. The extremely gorgeous golden body, as if the whole body is made of gold, gives people an extremely wonderful sense of appreciation. The incomparably powerful aura makes everyone in the picture, and even countless beings in the world, feel incomparable. What a shock! Amazing. Looking at Frisia in front of him, Goku couldn't help but feel a drop of cold sweat on his forehead. He felt extremely shocked in his heart. He originally thought that Frisia was bragging, but he didn't expect that this Frisia actually became. He is so powerful that even in his current super blue form, he dare not say that he can defeat Frisia. So strong is that Frisia. The power is simply unfathomable. He is a guy who is completely beyond common sense. On the ground, Vegeta, Krillin, Tenjin Fan, Kame Sennin and others stared blankly at Frisia in the sky, shaken by the powerful aura that Frisia possessed at this moment. Oh, it's true. After 4 months of training, my future self has indeed become extremely powerful. A mere Saiyan monkey is not worth mentioning. In the world of Dragon Ball, Frisia couldn't help but dance excitedly, with a wanton smile on his face. With the golden Frisia form, his strength is no weaker than that of the Saiyan monkeys in the super blue form, and even he may be even stronger, and in this way he can take revenge. 283. At the same time, the strong men in the entire world fell into a state of sluggishness. They couldn't believe that Frisia had become so powerful. That powerful energy is like the boundless universe, unfathomable. Too powerful. How could Frisia be so powerful? What kind of terrifying talent is this? It has actually reached a level comparable to the Super Saiyan God in just 4 months. Disaster. It's unbelievable. You have to know that Kakarot and the others have been practicing hard for more than 10 years, and with White's teachings, they have achieved what they are today. God, this must be a lie. This kind of terrifying talent, let alone Kakarot, is probably unparalleled even in the entire world. Yellow, Golden Frisia, the Frozen Demon Clan is the only apex among creatures in the universe. King Frisia is invincible. I have known for a long time that King Frisia can make a comeback. Kill Kakarot. King Frisia is the only faith in the universe. Those people upstairs, why haven't you come out to shout before? It's just that, you idiots, I haven't seen you bragging before, but now that Frisia appears and becomes stronger, you are licking him again. Rain Girl has no melon. In the barrage, countless people expressed their inner feelings with trembling hands, and some people even licked Frisia again. Due to the appearance of golden Frisia, the barrage actually once filled the entire screen, densely packed. What kind of talent is this that can actually reach the level of half-emperor in just 4 months? In the world of one leaf covering the sky, all the beings in the restricted area of life have gone crazy. The terrifying divine thoughts are constantly intertwined, triggering horrific visions of heaven and earth. No one can imagine that a person they originally regarded as Frisia, the ant, actually surpassed them and reached the realm of half-emperor in just 4 months. And it seems that he did not get some adventure, but reached this level through his own hard work. This terrifying talent seems to have never existed before. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 190. It's interesting, I didn't expect that in the Dragon Ball world, there would be such a talented being. In the perfect world, even the aloof immortal king couldn't help but sigh. However, it was just a sigh after all. After all, Frisia's talent is indeed very high. If Frisia practices down to earth in the world where the immortal kings live, he may be able to become an immortal in the future, or even reach the level of an immortal king. But this is destined to be impossible, because the two worlds are not connected at all, and Frisia can be said to be useless now. Because he has exhausted most of his potential, his progress in the future will be very slow. If there is no big opportunity, I am afraid he will have to stand still. Even if he is lucky enough to break through again, in the end it will be at most reach the level of immortality. There is no hope of becoming an immortal king level expert in this life. This guy Frisia actually rose to this level in just 4 months. His talent is truly terrifying. In the world of Dragon Ball, Virus, the god of destruction, raised his brows with a little excitement in his eyes. Frisia in the form of Golden Frisia is estimated to be about the 8th level of him. This level of strength is enough. It made him feel a little excited. After all, he had not yet fought against Super Saiyan God Goku, so he was naturally excited about the sudden appearance of Frisia. The talent is indeed terrifying, but compared to this sudden increase in strength, the strength of the two Saiyans is more stable. Besides, Whis raised his eyebrows, and then a faint voice came out. Although Frisia's talent is very good, it can even be said to be very scary. But in his eyes, if you want to become a truly strong person, it's not just about relying on talent. It's about going through countless life and death battles and adding super talent to become a real strong person. After all, the flowers in the greenhouse are the same as those who have experienced the storm. Flowers are not on the same level. Just like the Golden Frisia in the picture is obviously stronger than Goku, but in a real life and death battle, Frisia will probably not be the opponent of Super Blue Goku. The audience seemed to be surprised by my appearance. The screen continued to play. Looking at the reactions of everyone around him, Frisia showed a satisfied smile on his face, and an extremely pleasant feeling surged into his heart. I originally thought that gold was too monotonous, but it looks easier to understand. Now the effect is not bad. Moreover, I chose a slightly cheap name, Golden Frisia. I think you also understand that it's not just the colors that become bright, right? Well, of course. Nodding, Wukong's face was full of excitement. Although I expected you to transform, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Now I have entered unknown territory. Although it is not my intention, I may kill you in an instant. Clenching his fists, feeling the powerful power flowing out of his body, Frisia's face was filled with a confident smile. Hearing this, countless strong men in the world were confident in Frisia's honey. I also felt dumbfounded. This Emperor of the Universe really likes to pretend to be B, and every time he pretends to be B, he will be severely slapped in the face. Whether it is against Goku when he is a Super Saiyan, or against Future Special when he was Lanks, he was so confident. Now his strength has indeed become extremely powerful, and he has even caught up with Kakarot and others, but he wants to kill Kakarot in the super blue form in an instant. I'm afraid even Beerus, the god of destruction, may not be able to do it, unless the Angel Whis takes action. As for the possibility of Frisia killing Kakarot instantly, they can only say that it is zero. As the two people in the picture got ready to fight, countless spectators in the world began to hold their breath and concentrate, for fear of missing any action. Although Frisia is arrogant, if his battle with Kakarot allows them to get a glimpse of something, it will be enough for them to benefit a lot. After all, they have now reached the realm of gods. Although Frisia does not have the aura of a god, with such terrifying strength, even Kakarot may not be able to defeat him. Ah 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 ah. As the two roared, golden arrogance and sky blue arrogance suddenly exploded around them. Their bodies turned into a stream of light and rushed towards each other. The overwhelming shadows of fists continued to blast towards each other, and the planet and even the screen were constantly shaking due to their battle. The two of them kept colliding in mid-air, and the terrifying aftermath swept out. The entire sky was like boundless darkness, shrouding the hearts of countless people in the world, and the cracking earth was like their hearts, constantly falling apart. Just watching the battle between the two, the so-called Taoist hearts of some strong men were already on the verge of being broken, and they were almost unable to withstand the shock brought by their strength. Similarly, this is a hardship but also an opportunity. If you can look directly at your own weakness, you can also keep moving forward. Bang 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 bang. In mid-air, the two people continuously blasted out energy bombs. The overwhelming terrorist attacks continued to collide in the void. Energy bombs that could easily destroy the planet continued to explode in the void, leaving terrifying aftermath. Sweeping across the earth, strong winds comparable to level 20 storms continued to wreak havoc. Immediately afterwards, the two sides faced off against Qigong waves again. The powerful blue light waves and purple light waves continued to collide. The space in the hearts of the collisions continued to twist. Waves full of destruction continued to sweep through the heavens and the world, causing countless strong people to fight. So timid. With the collision of shock waves coming to an end, the bodies of the two people collided continuously in mid-air again, and the terrifying aftermath continued to sweep across the earth. The figures of the two people had long since disappeared, leaving only invisible ripples that continued to spread. While the two were fighting, the Angel Whis and the god of destruction Beerus came to the earth, but the two did not care about the battle between Goku and Frisia, but began to taste the desserts prepared by Bulma for Whis. While the two of them were enjoying the food, Goku in the battlefield had gradually fallen into a disadvantage and began to lose to Frisia. And Wukong obviously noticed this too. This time I will blow you to pieces as you wish. Looking at the embarrassed Goku in front of him, Frisia's face was filled with a smile of joyful victory. Then he looked at Kame Sennin and others and then said, after killing you, I will kill Vegeta and your beloved friends. We are sent to hell, you don't have to worry about being lonely. However, when Frisia's eyes shifted to the god of destruction Beerus and the Angel Whis who were eating delicious food next to Bulma. At this moment, Frisia's pupils suddenly shrank violently, as if he saw something terrifying. His body involuntarily took a few steps back, and his face became extremely nervous. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Compare, Beerus. Looking at Beerus' figure, Frisia's eyes suddenly widened and he exclaimed in disbelief. What's wrong, Frisia? How dare you call me by my name? How courageous. Looking at Frisia's frightened look, Beerus couldn't help but want to tease Frisia, so he pretended to be fierce. Beerus, grown-ups. Why are you here? Facing the notorious god of destruction Beerus in the universe, Frisia did not dare to show any signs of neglect. Even though his strength has become countless times stronger at this moment, he has even been upgraded to Golden Frisia. But even if he was given 10 more courages, he would not dare to disrespect Beerus, the god of destruction in front of him. After all, he knows the strength of the god of destruction better than Gaku. Even now, he will probably be killed by Beerus. Even if he is not defeated, he can only resist a few more times, and the god of destruction also has a terrifying ability that he cannot resist at all. Seeing this, countless powerful people in the world were dumbfounded. After all, Frisia just pretended to be a big bee, and actually forced Kakarot to a disadvantage, but it made them sweat. But now the golden Frisia who suppresses Super Blue Gaku is actually scared like a grandson in front of Beerus. The contrast is really too great. In this regard, Frisia himself, who was watching the scene, was not surprised at all. After all, the strength of Beerus, the god of destruction, is very terrifying. Moreover, the reason why the god of destruction is called destruction, just because they are endowed with a kind of destructive ability, even if they are immortal, they will be killed instantly, let alone this little emperor of the universe, so it is normal to give in. After all, a real man can bend and stretch, and he will not die if he gives in, so why not do it? Didn't you see me eating this thing? I'm here for this. Eating a large bowl of sundae ice cream, Beerus had a satisfied smile on his face. Are you here to interfere with my revenge? In this regard, Frisia couldn't help but ask anxiously. After all, if Beerus really wants to stop him, then even he can only sneak away with his tail between his legs, otherwise he will only die. Zhao, it's none of my business, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to fight, stay away. If the delicious dessert is covered with dust, I will destroy you all. Beerus licked his fingers, it didn't matter. Said. After all, the god of destruction will not interfere in battles between mortals. Even if the other party is his friend, he will remain neutral. With Beerus' indifferent attitude, he exploded again, but Gaku was still at a disadvantage, being beaten continuously by Frisia. Vegeta below had no intention of helping, but as time went by, Frisia's attacks became less violent than at the beginning, and he was even breathing heavily. Gaku also learned about Frisia's weakness under Vegeta's prompt, so the two collided with each other again, but Gaku was still defeated by Frisia, and was even beaten at one point. As time went by, Frisia's physical strength began to weaken. Just when Frisia burst out with all his breath, he punched Gaku with all his strength. To the surprise of most people in Bankai, Gaku did not take the initiative to dodge Frisia's attack, but instead took the next full blow from Golden Frisia. Boom! Thick smoke and dust continued to emerge, covering the bodies of the two people. The entire land continued to shake, and terrifying hurricanes continued to sweep out. As the smoke slowly dissipated, a scene that shocked the powerful men of all dimensions appeared. Taking stock of the people in the world, starting with the fate of the country. Author, Red Lotus. Chapter 191. In the picture, as the gunpowder smoke slowly dissipated, in the eyes of countless strong men from all major dimensions, Gaku was still standing unharmed, and Golden Frisia's fist was imprinted on Gaku's forehead. At this moment, countless people felt incredible and their faces were full of disbelief. It doesn't make sense, that guy Kakarot was being beaten up by Golden Frisia just now, and now he was punched in the face by Frisia, and he was unscathed. Disaster, could it be that Kakarot hadn't used all his strength just now and was just playing around? In the world of pirates, Luffy couldn't help but exclaimed. His mouth was wide enough to swallow a cow. And this was also the thought that emerged in the hearts of countless strong men in the world. But Gaku and the others couldn't feel it. I don't know if he has become stronger or not. Some smart people have already guessed the cause of the matter. After all, Vegeta just reminded him, and there is obviously no change in Kakarot's body. That means that his strength did not increase explosively, but Gaku was able to survive Frisia's full blow without any damage. Apart from the reason for the surge in strength, Frisia's strength only declined. And obviously, if Gaku's strength has not improved, then it is obvious that Frisia's strength has declined, and it has dropped significantly. Otherwise, no matter how powerful Gaku is, he can't resist Frisia's full punch without any damage. How can it be? In the picture, Frisia looked at the unharmed Gaku in front of him, his face full of disbelief, and the aura flowing throughout his body actually stopped for a moment at this moment. It seems your time limit has arrived first. Under Frisia's incredible gaze, Gaku squeezed Frisia's fist, with a confident smile on his face. It's me, one. Boom. Before he finished speaking, Gaku's fist suddenly shot out, and a terrifying force fell on Frisia's head in an instant. The unparalleled power made Golden Frisia's body fly backwards. It hit the mountain in the distance. Impossible. Slowly getting up from the ground, Frisia's face was full of disbelief. What on earth is going on? You just finished evolving and came here, right? Walking in front, looking at Frisia lying on the ground panting, Gaku then said. This form of Golden Frisia consumes too much energy. You no longer have the strength to defeat me. You can barely even maintain this form. If you take your time and adapt to this form before coming to Earth, I will be the loser. You said, I won't accept it. Looking at the condescending Wukong in front of him, Frisia's face was filled with anger, and then he suddenly punched out, but Wukong easily caught it again. Seeing this, everyone in the world understood. Well, just as Kakarot said, Frisia's physical strength has declined too fast and he cannot continue fighting Gaku. Damn it! Why? How is this possible? I don't believe it. Kneeling on the ground, Frisia beat the ground helplessly and furiously. His whole body couldn't help but tremble, and a strong sense of unwillingness surged into his heart. Get back from here. Returned to normal, Wukong slowly opened his mouth and continued, I will accompany you at any time during the competition. However, before he finished speaking, under the horrified gazes of everyone around him and countless people in the world, a dazzling laser instantly penetrated Wukong's chest from the ring in Salbai's hand at lightning speed. Holding the wound, Wukong groaned in pain, and then collapsed on the ground, severe pain constantly filling his body. Tisk, this idiot. Looking at Kakarot, who was sneak attacked by Sorbet, Vegeta couldn't help but cursed angrily. Kakarot, an arrogant guy, actually made such low-level mistakes again and again. In this regard, countless people in all the worlds also agree with it. After all, Kakarot is often like this, and Namek has given Frisia opportunities again and again before. In the end, the dog did not bite Lu Dongbin. Thinking of being fooled by Frisia again. You must know that no matter how powerful a person is, once his weakness is exposed, his opponent will catch him without hesitation and kill him ruthlessly. And Kakarot's weaknesses are kindness and arrogance. In the picture, just when Frisia wanted to kill Gaku, Vegeta blasted out a Kigong and saved Gaku. Let's do this, change the players. Located on a rock in the distance, the corners of Vegeta's mouth raised slightly. I'm sorry, I can't let you kill Kakarot. Although this guy is annoying, I need his existence if I want to become stronger. Damn Vegeta. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Under Frisia's angry gaze, Vegeta slowly flew in front of Gaku. Looking at Gaku, who fell to the ground and giggled, Vegeta endured. He couldn't help but say, Wes warned you so many times, you idiot. Then, Vegeta kicked Gaku back to Gohan, and then bounced back the death ray shot by Frisia, killing Sorbet at the same time. Seeing this, Sorbet from Dragon Ball World suddenly turned pale. He changed, saying in his heart that he must not be able to resurrect Frisia in the future, otherwise he would have to die under Frisia's light in the end. Agnes coming. In the screen, with Vegeta with a roar, dazzling blue light shone out of his heart, and the dazzling light once again blinded everyone present and countless audiences in the world. Boom. Under the shocked gazes of countless powerful men in the world, Vegeta also transformed into a super blue form like Goku. Sky blue flames exploded around him, and the powerful aura of God continued to spread out. At this moment, although they had been prepared for it, many strong men from all major dimensions were also stunned by Vegeta. The divine arrogance that was no less than that of Goku was surrounding Vegeta at this moment. I saw this scene in the future. Countless people in the Dragon Ball world were shocked, and Vegeta cried with joy. Her whole body could not help but tremble with excitement, and her face could not stop being happy. The realm of God. The realm of God that I dreamed of, I finally reached it in the future, and it was no less than Kakarot. At the same time, the strong men from all major dimensions and even Beerus who watched the scene couldn't help but sigh. After all, the previous Vegeta was only at the peak of Super 2. Even if he exploded with all his strength, he could only barely let the god of destruction use one level of strength. But now Vegeta in his super blue form has surpassed so many things in the past, reaching around the 8th level of strength close to the god of destruction Beerus. What a huge improvement this is, and it's not the same as Frieza's method of draining potential. It's the result of step-by-step practice. Master Whis is truly a god. He actually raised Vegeta's strength to this level in less than a year. You probably don't know yet, but I can also become one. In the picture, Vegeta is bathed in sky blue aura. His hair color, pupils, and eyebrows have also turned into a gorgeous sky blue. Under Frieza's disbelieving gaze, Vegeta then said transformation. Behind me, I can surpass the legendary Super Saiyan and reach the realm of God. After that, facing Frieza who could only maintain the golden Frieza form in front of him, Vegeta went up and beat Frieza so hard that he was unable to fight back. No matter what kind of attacks Frieza used, Vegeta easily resisted them and ignored them. Vegeta obviously didn't. Wukong is so kind and tries his best every time he strikes. In response to this, many people in the world began to joke, saying that Vegeta looked like a worker who was squeezed by a black-hearted boss, constantly pouring out his anger through his fists. And some people even said that at this moment, Vegeta couldn't help but laugh wildly in his heart. It was very comfortable to see his former boss kneeling at his feet, looking so helpless and furious. In response to this, Vegeta, the person involved in the spaceship in the Dragon Ball world, also kept laughing wildly. He felt extremely happy when he saw Frieza being ravaged by him in the picture. You know, when he found out that planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza, he was extremely angry. Now this great revenge can finally be avenged. On the other hand, Frieza, the protagonist who was fatally beaten, could only rage and helplessly rage while watching the scene, constantly destroying everything around him in an attempt to calm his inner anger. Grandma Lee, just now she was beating up the Saiyan monkey named Son Goku, but she didn't expect to see herself being blasted by Vegeta with a backhand. This is really abominable. Finally, Frieza was knocked back to his original final form by Vegeta, and then the helpless and furious Frieza could only kneel on the ground, roaring continuously. And just when Vegeta was about to kill Frieza, a powerful force swept across the entire planet in an instant. The terrifying power caused lava from the ground to spew out from countless places on the earth, eliminating those who were shielded by Whis energy. Except for the people he protected, all humans in the world died without any surprise. Boom! The camera came to outer space. As Frieza's powerful power swept out, the entire planet was filled with cracks, and then turned into a burning planet, turning into ashes in the universe in an instant. In the void, Tianjin Fan and others looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief, and Bulma knelt down and cried bitterly. Even Vegeta was killed in the explosion just now. Damn it, if I had known it was like this, I should have killed him just now. Looking at this scene, Goku roared unwillingly. Faced with this situation, fans who support the Saiyans, whether in the Dragon Ball world or in the world, all felt a deep sense of powerlessness. Obviously Vegeta has already after defeating Frieza, he was almost ready to kill him. However, the next scene caused countless strong men in the world to freeze in place. Even the strong men at the Immortal King level were stunned at this moment. Shocked. In this case, let's go back to the past and finish it. In the screen, Weiss's calm voice came out, and the expression on his face didn't look like he was joking at all. The moment Weiss's voice came out, the strong men in all major dimensions were stunned and looked at the screen in disbelief. Weiss thought she heard it wrong. But what happened next was far beyond their imagination.